Picture this. Sunday afternoon. Bay Hill Club and Lodge in Orlando, Florida. The air is thick. The crowd is silent in that particular way a crowd only goes silent when something sacred is about to be decided. Daniel Berger stands on the 18th fairway. He's been here for 4 days. He's led this golf tournament from the very first tee shot on Thursday. Wire to wire. Commanding. Inevitable. They said this was his time. His comeback story, after years of injury, after a broken finger that cost him a season, after the kind of quiet suffering that doesn't make headlines but quietly breaks a man's spirit. He had rebuilt himself, shot by shot, round by round. He came to Bay Hill with something to prove, and he proved it for 71 holes. But golf doesn't care about your narrative. Golf doesn't care how long you waited or how hard you worked or how much you deserved it. In the span of 9 holes on a Sunday afternoon at Arnold Palmer's Cathedral, everything changed. And the name at the top of the leaderboard when the dust finally settled? Almost nobody saw it coming. If you've ever watched someone fight their way back from the edge of impossible, drop a comment right now. What's the greatest comeback you've ever witnessed in sport? Because what happened at Bay Hill today might just top all of it. And if stories like this one are why you love golf, why you love sport, make sure you're subscribed, because we tell this game the way it deserves to be told. The 2026 Arnold Palmer Invitational is one of the PGA Tour's elite signature events. A limited field, $20 million in prize money, $4 million going to the winner. And every year, this tournament carries extra weight because it's held at the course Arnold Palmer himself called home. Bay Hill is not just a venue. It's a pilgrimage. The walls breathe history. The fairways feel like they remember. Going into the final round, Daniel Berger held a 3-shot lead. For most of the field, the tournament was already over. He had led after 18 holes, after 36 holes, after 54. Wire to wire. The first player to do that at Bay Hill in 10 years. The weather delay on Saturday had pushed some of the morning groups into Sunday, but by the time the final pairings were set, the tone was clear. This was Berger's tournament to lose. And walking alongside him in that final group was a 24-year-old left-hander named Akshay Bhatia. Bhatia is the kind of golfer who makes veteran observers lean forward in their chairs. He turned professional as a teenager, skipping college golf entirely, a move that raised eyebrows and whispers. He had raw ability that was almost uncomfortable to watch, the kind of talent that seems almost unfair until it suddenly isn't, until the game reminds you that talent is only the starting point. He had won twice before on the PGA Tour, both times in playoffs. There was a pattern forming around this young man. He didn't just win, he won at the edge of elimination. He won when the moment asked the most of him. But this was different. This was a signature event. $20 million. Arnold Palmer's place. The biggest stage of his career. And he came into Sunday 5 shots behind. 5. On a course and against a player who had shown no signs of cracking. Then something shifted. It started quietly, the way the most dangerous things always do. Bhatia made birdie at 10, then 11, then 12, then 13. For consecutive birdies. The leaderboard that had seemed carved in stone began to tremble. 4 straight birdies in the final round of a signature event. While the leader is watching, while the crowd is starting to murmur, that is not a statistical event. That is a psychological earthquake. The lead that had been 3 shots at the turn was suddenly gone. Just like that. Think about what that does to a man. Berger had done everything right for 3.5 rounds. He had been clean, controlled, methodical. And in the space of 4 holes on the back 9, the tournament became a completely different conversation. Do you believe Berger should have played more aggressively on that back 9? Or was this just one of those Sundays where the golf gods had already made up their minds? Because this debate is tearing the golf world apart right now. Then came the 16th hole. Par 5. Bhatia hit a 6-iron approach from the fairway that flew directly at the flag and nearly dropped in for an albatross. It settled within feet. He made the eagle putt. When Berger then made bogey on the par 3 17th, 2 men stood on the 18th tee tied at 15 under par. The first playoff at the Arnold Palmer Invitational since 1999. The 72nd hole was already a story of its own. Bhatia, somehow finding calm inside the hurricane, made a routine par. Berger, nerves or rough or fate, call it what you want, hit into the deep rough off the tee and was forced to lay up. He pulled off an extraordinary up and down to save par and force extra holes. A moment of pure, clutching, desperate brilliance. And yet it wasn't enough. On the first playoff hole, history made its decision. Berger found the rough again. His third shot came up 7 feet short. He couldn't make the putt. Bhatia two-putted from the green, calmly, deliberately, the way a man walks through a door that was always meant to be his. 3 PGA Tour wins. 3 playoffs. He is now one of only 8 players in Tour history to win each of his first 3 titles in extra holes. At 24 years old, with $4 million in his pocket, and a tee time at the Players' Championship next week. If you felt something watching this, if this kind of story reminds you why sports still matters, hit that button. Because this young man just gave the game something it hasn't had in a long time. Because we cannot tell Bhatia's story without fully honoring what Daniel Berger went through today. This man missed the better part of 2 seasons. A back injury that wouldn't heal. Then a broken finger last August that cost him the back half of 2025. He came to Bay Hill not as a favorite, not as a headliner, but as a man quietly rebuilding. He led for 71 holes. 71. He earned $2.2 million. He secured a spot in the Open Championship. He moved back into the top 40 in the world. And he will still wake up tomorrow morning having lost. That is the strange, ruthless arithmetic of sport. Sometimes you do nearly everything right, and it still isn't enough. In a different week, on a different Sunday, Berger wins this tournament going away, and we talk about his resilience for months. Today, he becomes the backdrop for someone else's legend. Golf can be absolutely merciless. Bhatia's win doesn't just make headlines. It reshapes the conversation heading into the biggest stretch of the golf calendar. The Players' Championship is next week at TPC Sawgrass, often called the 5th major. Then the Masters in April. Bhatia now enters both events ranked inside the top 20 in the world, with momentum, with confidence, with the kind of quiet fire that wins major championships. Scottie Scheffler, the world #1, had a forgettable week. He finished well down the leaderboard, his iron play, usually a weapon, letting him down across all 4 rounds. Rory McIlroy withdrew on Saturday with back spasms, though he's expected to be ready for the Players. The door, as they say, is open, and standing in front of that door, smiling, is a 24-year-old left-hander who just proved that no deficit, no leaderboard, no moment is ever truly out of reach. This is what professional golf looks like when it's at its absolute best. Not the scorecard, not the prize money, the human story underneath it all. A man 5 shots back on Sunday who refused to let the story be written without him. A competitor who led for 71 holes and still stood with dignity when it was over. A course that has seen legends and quietly added another chapter to its history. If you believe that the best golf stories are still to come, that Bay Hill was only the beginning, then you already know why you're here. And you already know why this channel exists. We'll see you at the Players.